Welcome to episode 1 of the Hello Hello podcast. My name is Raammo, and this is Jenz. I guess I'd call you my colleague, my coworker, my partner. I don't know. We've been planning to do this podcast for like the better part of a year now, and have finally decided that now's the best time to do it.
Yeah, and we're basically aiming to do this on a weekly basis, where we just bring you our thoughts on a mishmash of topics like gaming, TV, travel, food, and pretty much it's just going to be a conversation between two friends about whatever comes to our minds.
Yeah.
And today we're just going to be talking about our most anticipated games in 2021. So do you want to start off with your most anticipated game?
Yeah, all right. Well, I guess the first one that comes to my mind would be Hitman 3. It is meant to be coming out this month, if there's any like late stage delays, which I very much doubt. But I've always been a big Hitman fan. I've played them since like Hitman 2 back on the PlayStation 2, ever since I was a kid. I really find them enjoyable games. Hitman, the new ones that have been coming out, I really have been enjoying them. Like the new modern take on them. The episodic release of like the first one was a little bit weird, but they've since like sort of scrapped that and have just been doing a normal release for like the past 2 games now. So that would be like my main one, I think, at the moment.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I've always enjoyed the Hitman. I've been so bad at them.
You're not the biggest stealth person though. Like,
no.
yeah, I've been playing them for a long time, so I sort of understand. I think the mechanics a bit more than people that like don't play stealth games, because there is a pretty steep learning curve to like all the mechanics in it. It's not like your normal sort of just shooter or third person like adventure style game. They are sort of in their own niche little pocket, I feel.
Yeah.
But yeah, what about you? What are you most excited about coming out this year?
I think it has to be Little Nightmares 2 after playing the demo.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know, Little Nightmares 2 is basically a suspense adventure game in which you play as Mono. So not Six, but Six becomes your little guide. And so you have to go through all sorts of crazy creatures. And I don't know. I just love how twisted the world is and how
you are a big Little Nightmares fan. I have seen. Yeah, they're not like the sort of game for me. I've never been into those sorts of like. No, I don't know. Like, I do like horror games. I do really enjoy it. And that is one of my other, like, the most intense games coming out this year is the new Resident Evil. But, like, I don't know. Little Nightmares just didn't really sort of, I guess the word would be resonate. But, like, I don't know if that's the word that I would use to describe it. But I just didn't, I didn't really find it that interesting and stuff like that. From the gameplay that I did see, I did watch you play it on your Twitch and stuff like that. But it was, it seemed pretty cool for what it was. I know that it is very, like, popular these days. A lot of people do enjoy Little Nightmares and are
it does
really
have a
excited.
pretty strong following.
Yeah, and which is good because these days, like, horror games are pretty hard to like make good. I feel these days.
Yeah, it's really hard to nail horror now. And
so I feel doing like Little Nightmares that I think does really well is it does its own thing where it's not zombies, it's not like, monsters, it's not all that sort of stuff. It's like its own, like you said, it's like a twisted sort of take on horror and stuff like that, which I think is a good thing because it's, it sets itself apart from the rest. It's
Yeah. I think what I really like about it is just the things that they think of, and truly the suspense really gets to you. But it's almost like, in Studio Ghibli films, it's like this beautiful world, but the creatures in it are just like really gross, like just completely the opposite of what you expect.
There's a good contrast between it, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly what Little Nightmares nails, is just this really cute character that you play. You're really small, but the things that you're hiding from are just really gross, keeps you like, makes your skin crawl. It's just like that contrast really I love.
There's also that contrast between like the world being super dark and bleak and like made with lots of browns and blacks and grays, but then like you play as a character that's in like this really bright yellow raincoat that sort of stands out
Mm.
against that, which I think is pretty cool as well.
Yeah. But yeah, that's basically my top one for this year, I
Mm.
think.
Well, I guess we can just jump straight into Resident Evil Village then, or Resident Evil 8.
Yeah.
For those that, haven't really been following. Resident Evil sort of took a really big, like, I don't want to say leap, but like a really big step in
Hmm.
sort of bringing itself back to the forefront of being like a mainstay in the horror series. I haven't played all of the Resident Evil games. I haven't played, a lot of the middle sort of ones, but I did pick
Yeah.
up the Resident Evil 2 remake when they brought it out. I think like
Which
three
was a
or 4 years
beautiful
ago,
remake.
which is insane. That was so good. I never played the original back on PlayStation or
All right.
stuff like that because back then when I was young, no way was I playing a horror game.
It was too scary.
No way, yeah.
Yeah.
But now I'm like all for it. So for those that haven't played it, I definitely recommend picking up Resident Evil 2. Even if you're not a horror person, do please pick it up.
Yeah,
because
I think that's a really good one to start
it's
with.
a really good place to start. But like from my understanding, like Resident Evil 5 and 6 and I think 4, they weren't
Mhm.
very well received and stuff like that in sorts of
No.
reviews or like what the fans were wanting. And so I think when I mean like they took another step forward into becoming a mainstay is like doing these remakes and stuff and making them fresh for the new audience and making like the gameplay sort of feel a bit more modern and stuff like that. Has done a really good thing for the series because when they brought out Resident Evil 7, I haven't finished that yet. I am in the middle of like playing through it, but that was like a massive change for the Resident Evil series. Like it wasn't third person; it was always forced first person perspective. But it still kept like the same sort of feel that a lot of the older Resident Evils had, where like it's just very creepy. You're always on edge. You never know what's going to pop out around the corner or through the floor or something like that. And the story's pretty engaging too. And I think that's what they're going to do with 8 as well, is they're going to have another really engaging story that follows on from Resident Evil 7 from what I understand. I haven't seen that much on it. These days I like to try and sort of watch one trailer that they release like right at the start of the cycle for like the marketing for the game and stuff like that, but then never read or watch anything ever again because I sort of like to stay in the shadows and like, not spoil myself too much for the things. But what I do know is they're setting it in Europe this time. Which is a giant change for Resident Evil in my understanding, because I think most of the games have either taken place in Raccoon City or like something that very closely resembles like a North American town or city or something like that. So putting it in Europe is like a very big change for the series because they've never really done it before. And I think they're also sort of leaning into that and using a lot of, I want to say like European horror folklore in the sense that like they're not using your traditional like zombies or like things like that again. I think they're leaning more towards using like werewolves or like monsters and demons and stuff that I would feel are very more European than American. Like I would very much resemble like a zombie as being a more American thing than a European thing, and then I would do the opposite and say a werewolf is a lot more European than American in my eyes, at least. I don't know, but I'm just super excited about it. It looks like it's going to be pretty good. I don't know if it has a hard release date for 2021, but it is slated to be coming out sometime this year. And I'm also really excited about what they're going to do with the PS5 with that new controller. I feel like that's going to be mad.
The feedback.
Yeah, I feel like that's going to be a real big thing in a lot of those horror games because I know a lot of people haven't been able to get their hands on the PS5, but both me and you were lucky enough to be able to get one. That controller is exceptional. That honestly makes the console for me. I think
I think it was in Demon Souls. I have yet to experience it, but apparently if you like pull back a bow in the game, the joysticks are a little harder to push back.
Yep. It's the same in I've told you before.
Incredible.
You have to go and play. You have to go and play Astro's Playroom.
Yeah, I do.
You have to, because that is like the best. It's like what the Wii did with Wii Sports. Like Wii Sports was its own sort of game, but it was meant to be like a tech demo for the Wii. and that's exactly what Astro's Playroom is for the PlayStation 5. Like, it
Mm-mm-mm.
is the best tech demo that I can think of since Wii Sports, I feel, because that just does show the absolute power that a controller can have. And like a lot of it is quite subtle, but it's like I feel like that's what its job is meant to do. It's not meant to be the star of the show. It's meant to
No.
sort of aid you,
Aid.
yeah, in a lot of the gameplay things.
Yeah.
And it does that so well. So yeah, please, after this, you have to go and try Astro's Playroom. It's so good. Oh,
Yeah, just speaking about the DualSense controllers and what's, I guess, the future of gaming. I wonder if more games will take advantage of that, or if it's going to be,
I mean, I really do hope so,
if
because I mean, just from my experience, I want more games to be able to utilize it in some way. Like I know a couple of the games that came out with the PS5 did use it. So I know COD has it. Like when you're shooting, it bounces back on the trigger and stuff like that. And Miles Morales has it a little bit. It's not
Okay.
that much, but it's like
Yeah, right.
like it's
It could be because that game was also for the PlayStation 4,
yeah,
and maybe
and that's what I think. That's what a lot of the games that came out with PS5, like the only game that I can think of off the top of my head that was an exclusive for just the PlayStation 5 was Demon Souls.
Yeah, I think so.
I think all
Or
the
at least
other
at
games,
the time of release.
exactly, yeah. I think all the other games were like a dual release, or it come out like a couple of weeks beforehand on the PS4 already, and then were just like sort of shifted over to the PS5 with like some added on features in that controller afterwards.
Yeah.
So like in the next couple of years, next 2 or 3 years, I want to see games that are like developed solely for the PS5, like utilize that technology to like its full potential and stuff like that. Because I feel like it's going to be the future. Same with Steam as well. I know people are saying they really wish Steam developers or like PC developers, because you can just plug the the PlayStation 5 controller straight into your PC, and just like Steam recognizes it these days. They want some
That would be pretty cool.
they want some like PC games to be able to support the DualSense like rumble features and like, you know, adaptive triggers and all that sort of stuff, which would be really cool.
Yeah.
Um,
It might be a lot harder than we expect, but
I think
it
so,
would be a very
yeah.
cool feature to have.
I think so, and it's also not like at the top of developers' lists. Like they're more trying to get the games out and make them run the best they can on that specific system or console or whatever. The sort of last thing they're thinking about is like little additional features that might be nice to add in.
Yeah,
that they're not essential.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but continuing on, what are you next excited for this year?
It's a tough one between Stray, which is basically you're a cat.
I am
you
so
play
excited
as a cat,
and
you roam around in like a cyber city.
I have no idea. I have no idea what it's about, but I'm here for it.
Neither do I.
I'm here for it. When I saw it, it was in a Nintendo Direct, wasn't it? I think, and like I was watching that Nintendo Direct at like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, because that's what happens in our time zone. We have to stay up and watch them. But like that game was just, I don't know what it was doing. As soon as I saw a cat walking around, I was like, I'm in. You saw me.
Yeah. I've never been more excited to play as a cat, so I'm really, really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Really don't have any understanding of what we do, except for I've read that you have to defend against threats, solve some mysteries, and you know, I think it's just going to be an open world RPG kind of thing, possibly.
Man, cat RPG. What more can you ask for?
Yeah.
Honestly, you know? What more can you ask for?
That sadly doesn't have a release date, but fingers crossed it will be coming out this year at some stage.
Yeah.
We're not sure yet with quarantine stuff.
Now, well, thinking of that, and also good segue with the quarantine, Rainbow Six quarantine.
Yeah,
we're pretty big Rainbow Six fans. I myself have sort of taken a little break from playing Rainbow Six, because I played it pretty hardcore for like 4 years straight.
You've been playing for a long time.
Yeah, I've sort of taken a break and just been playing and enjoying the game, stuff like that in the meantime. But Quarantine is like the spin-off. A couple of years ago they did, I think it was a Halloween event. It was like a Rainbow Six Outbreak or something like that, I think it was called. Where where like you go in with 3 characters. It was 3 players only, and you just had to basically like defend. It was like a like Call of Duty Zombies, where you had like a bunch of windows and stuff like that, and you sort of just had to defend against a bunch of um, like outbreaked like demon sort of things that would just keep coming and trying to attack you in a wave based sort of thing. And Quarantine is like its own dedicated spin-off based on that, from my understanding. But it because of, funnily enough, again, good segue, the coronavirus quarantine that's been going on in the world, I think a lot of Ubisoft devs have been like working from home and stuff like that. And so a bunch of their mainline games that are coming out, Rainbow Six Quarantine included, Far Cry 6, and there was like a couple of others I think as well that were affected by it. They got some pretty heavy pushbacks. They're both Quarantine and Far Cry 6 were both meant to be coming out sometime in the start of this year, like Q1, Q2. They've both been pushed back, I think, till the end of this year, or some. I think as well I saw 2022 even. They're getting some pretty late pushbacks. So,
which is a real shame, but I guess that is just really what it is.
Yeah, it's the state of the world. Yeah, it's the state of the world at the moment.
Yeah,
can't really help it. I don't think, you know.
But I'm very excited for this game too. I think it could be a lot of fun. I wonder if your characters, if it's a fixed 3 set of characters.
Yeah. Well, again, like I said earlier, I sort of stayed in the dark with a lot of the news on these games that are coming out these days. So I honestly don't know if they're sticking with the 3-player like sort of system, or if they're doing the normal like 5 people on a team or something like that. It'd be cool to see them do more, but I feel like that also like having like a smaller team would make it a bit more fun, a bit more exciting.
Yeah, and sometimes it's very hard to get a full 5-player team.
We struggle always to get, when we play, there's usually only 3 or 4 of us max. Like, you know, we always have at least one sort of random person on the team.
Yeah.
So it'd be good to have.
I think 3-player could be a really good sweet spot. Yeah. I think like Warzone's done it for a long time. Their base was 3, and then they expanded to the single, duo, and quads. So yeah, it'd be an interesting one to see what if it's going to be like COD Zombies, or if it's going to feel like something completely different.
Yeah, I wonder as well how it'll come into play, like with all of the like the character abilities, because it's sort of like
that's what I was thinking. For those that don't know
Rainbow Six, it's sort of similar to like Overwatch in a sense, where each character has like their own like special ability or like power up or something, I guess you'd call it. And so I wonder if they'd completely revamp them and make them more tailored to a like zombie wave style game, or if they just sort of keep them the same and have them, you know, have them like they are in normal Rainbow Six at the moment. So
yeah, I feel like they might add their abilities in, because that is
they would have to. That's
of Rainbow.
Yeah, that's called Rainbow Six, I think. Yeah.
So, but who knows? Right now, there's not a lot of news on it. I think it was teased in 2019. So
it's been a little while.
We really don't know when it's gonna come.
Oh, that's the thing these days. It's like that's also why I try not to get too engrossed in like a game's release or like a game sort of development and stuff like that, is because these things can happen when they just keep getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. And you just don't know. Like that's the thing. I was on Reddit a couple of days ago, and I saw someone, I don't know if you ever remember, but Dead Island 2 was announced to be coming out like 6 years ago. It was announced for like I think it was a 2018 or something release. It's been 6 years since it was announced, and it still hasn't come out. But I saw on Reddit someone had it pre-ordered. He's had it pre-ordered for 6 years, and there's still no hard release date for it. They still don't know when it's going to come out. They don't know what system it's going to come out on. They don't even know if it's coming out anymore. And it's like it's like, you know, it's been like that for the past couple of years, I feel, in the gaming industry, where you just don't know what's going to happen. So I sort of try and steer clear of all that. Plus with spoilers too.
Yeah, that's fair.
I feel like a lot of trailers and stuff these days can spoil things pretty heavily. And so I like to sort of go in as blind as I can. I found
I was the same with that, especially with Cyberpunk. I just did not want to know
Cyberpunk. I watched Cyberpunk. The first trailer they brought out in like 2018, like to say that it was coming out or something like that. I watched that trailer and then I didn't watch anything since then.
Yeah,
that's all I wanted to see. And then sadly, it was pretty disappointing when it did come out. At least for me, I know a bunch of other people. Really, I do enjoy it, but
Yeah.
but it was a pretty disappointing release. I feel because it does look like they had to rush a bunch of things at the end.
Yeah, it was very complicated for them, and there's a lot
Yeah.
of mixed reviews in Cyberpunk.
Yeah, it's still. I did check yesterday or the day before. It's still sitting at mostly positive on Steam, which is pretty good. I feel.
Okay.
But I do feel for all of like the PS4 or like
The consoles.
the normal Xbox One sort of players that were like really excited for it because they got pretty shafted. I feel. They their game would run barely at the time. It was crashing like every 30 or 40 minutes or something like that. A lot of the textures weren't loading. It was pretty dirty.
Yeah.
And I know even talking to one of my friends who got he got the PS4 edition but plays it on his PS5 and he's still experiencing some of those issues. Like he's having like crashes on the hour every hour or something like that. He's having a little bit of pop-in issues, things like that. Like I haven't had it crash on PC once, which I'm pretty lucky for, but I have had a couple of the other weird like sort of bugs happen. But it is still pretty fun for what I have played. To enjoy it.
Oh, that's good. Speaking of quarantine again, because I don't know if
can't escape it these days.
Stop talking about it. I've been very much enjoying games with other people lately, just as a social outlet because obviously we can't do that. And
I haven't seen you in like what, a year and a half now, nearly 2 years or something.
It's been
I feel
so long.
Yeah, too long.
But we do like hang out online, which is really nice. But one game that alludes to that is It Takes Two, which I only found out about a few days ago. Which it's basically a co-op adventure from Hazelight, the studio who made A Way Out and Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons. Yeah. And so it's a co-op game with engaging storytelling, and I don't know a whole lot about it except it's got very much the A Way Out formula where you have that split screen and one player has a different view compared to the other.
Yeah.
And it just looks so good. It's like a storybook kind of world.
When you, like I do remember hearing the title It Takes Two like a little while ago.
Well, it is a really pretty popular movie back in the day.
Yeah, like I think I remember seeing it somewhere at like E3 or one of the gaming conventions or something. But I sort of like put it aside because it wasn't like one of the games that I was super, super excited for. But but we've actually been playing a fair few of these sorts of co-op games over the past couple of years. Like we've played what was it called? The snow ones. Like with the
We Were Here Too?
Yeah, like the We Were Here series. They were
great.
Yeah.
They were a very good series. Because if you love puzzles / playing with a friend or partner or sibling, whatever, they're great. They're really good.
They're great. They're cheap.
So engaging.
They're cheap. They're really short as well. Not really short, but they take you can finish them in like 2 or 3 hours or something like that if you sort of put your mind to it and stuff. Like we finished them all. There's 3 of them these days, and we finished them all within a couple of hours.
3. I thought there was 2.
No, I think there's 3 now. Yeah, I think we've played all 3 of them. Yeah, but we've finished all of them within a couple of hours and stuff like that, and they're really good. They're good like to test your communication skills and things like that. They're pretty good puzzlers and stuff. And they're all very different too. They don't like a lot of puzzle games these days. I feel sort of like, especially if they're in a series, they sort of copy puzzles or have like similar sorts of puzzle like elements. That's the one I'm looking for. Yeah, it's a similar sort of puzzle elements between all of them. But those sorts of games, the We Were Here games, they're sort of all a little bit different in their puzzles, which is good because you're all getting like a different experience each time. Yeah, I do highly recommend those. But It Takes Two is very similar to that where it's like, one person has to do one thing whilst communicating to the other player that they're doing this thing so that they can escape or they can sort of make their way out and things like that. They're pretty fun.
Yeah, so that's predicted to come out on March 26th, so fingers crossed.
Okay.
Still.
Hopefully no pushback.
So pretty soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, another one. Speaking of pushbacks again, Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga. It was meant to come out, I think, last year in December. But it has been pushed back, I think, again. I don't know why. They're having some development issues, I think. But I'm quite
Yeah.
excited with this. I've loved the Lego games, just any of them, basically, not just Lego Star Wars,
Yeah.
but any of the Lego games since I was a kid. I'm playing the shit out of these games. They're so much
They're
fun.
great. They're
Yeah,
great.
they were like, it's like proper couch co-op. Like I remember sitting there. I got two younger brothers, and we'd always sit there and we'd try and like 100% all these levels and stuff like that. We'd sit there for hours and play these Lego games. But the Skywalker Saga, the new Lego game that's coming out, they're sort of reworking the traditional like Lego style game. It's still gonna be like what you'd expect from a Lego game. Like it's gonna have all the comedy and humor and stuff like that. It's gonna have the cutscenes. It's gonna have like you're gonna follow all of the nine movies that follow like Luke Skywalker or the Skywalker family, I guess you'd say. Um,
Mm.
but like they've reworked the combat system in this newer one. Where in most Lego games you
Ooh.
basically just mash like one button just to do
Yeah.
like just a basic attack move or something like that. Whether or not you're using a blaster, if you're using a lightsaber, if you're wielding a whip, if you were whatever it might have been. But this one they're reworking it so that like now depending on what you like what weapon you wield, like if you're wielding a lightsaber or something similar to it like a staff, it's gonna have
Mm.
more of a focus on like getting combos and things like that. So it's sort of like I guess I would say it's like aiming it more towards like an older sort of audience or an adult audience,
Mm-hmm.
which I think they expect because a lot of the people are like my age now. Like I grew up playing the Lego games, and I'm obviously a little bit older now, so like playing those sorts of older games where they just mash one button to attack is a little bit too simple. So I do like that they're doing this new rework, which will make it like a little bit more engaging or a little bit more involved.
Yeah.
I think. Um, and then same with like blasters and stuff. They rework the blasters and things like that. I still don't know if it has a hard release date this year though, but they've just pushed it back
Right.
I think to 2021. I don't know exactly when it's going to come out. I'm just really excited for it. I
Yeah.
hope it comes out this year. I really do because I want something to be able to like play with friends or family and stuff like that we can just sort of chill and put on the
Mm-hmm.
TV and just like sit back and stuff like that. But I really hope it comes out this year.
Well, fingers crossed, I
Mm,
suppose.
mm. What about you? Are you
And I
excited for anything
guess,
else?
well, the last one on my list
Mm.
is a game called Deathloop, which pretty much reminds me of what's that movie? Die.
Well, there's
The one with Tom Cruise.
yeah, there's one with Tom Cruise,
They
and there's
changed the name.
there's also one called Looper, which I remember
No,
from a couple
not
of years ago.
Looper.
But Looper's sort of similar to this, I think. But yeah, I know the one you're talking
Looper's
about.
a very good
Yeah, with
name.
Tom Cruise.
Oh, sorry, game. A movie.
Movie. Yeah.
Yes.
No, I do know what you're talking about. I just
Anyways,
forget the title of it.
um, it's a game that is from the Arcane studio, so the makers of Dishonored and Prey.
Mhm.
You can see the Dishonored trademarks in the trailer, but it's a tale of two assassins doing eternal battle on the retro future 60s inspired island of Black Reef. And it's basically like a time loop thing where one person needs to kill the other person and vice versa.
Yeah.
And it sets back the clock. But it's I don't know much more other than that from seeing the trailers.
Do you know if it's like multiplayer? Like if we both got it, like do you reckon like we could try and like fight each other and kill each other and stuff like that, or do you reckon
was what I was.
Is it more of a story based game though? Do you know?
I don't know. I think it's going to be a story based game. It looks like a game that could be co-op.
Yeah.
But it's not. There's no sort of like indication of that.
Yeah.
Or if it's going to be a single player game.
Mm.
But if it was, that would be really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, at this stage, it's going to be a PlayStation 5 time exclusive release, which means that there will be some DualSense controller unique features, which will be very exciting.
Okay.
But the style of it looks incredible. It looks beautiful with the whole 60s inspired stuff going on. The trailer is a really good trailer as well. So I haven't really heard much about it, but I'm very excited. And that's hopefully coming out in May, which
that's not too far away. Yeah.
Not too far away. Yeah.
Cool. I do like it. Like these days I feel like a lot of the games when they announce them, they sort of announce them with these super long, or like not super long, but like these really long release windows where it's like they'll announce it
Yeah.
and then it's like, oh, it's coming 2023, and I'm like, man, that's like 2 or 3 years away now. Like, so I sort
Yeah,
of
why are
like
you
it.
teasing this right
I
now?
sort of like it when oh, what was the game that did it? There was a game that did it a couple of years ago where they were like, I think it might have been, oh no, it wouldn't have been a GTA, but it was like they announced it and they were like, yeah, it's coming out in 3 months' time, and I was like, that's good,
Oh.
that's cool. Like, I hate having all these like super long lead times where everyone gets like
Mm,
super excited, they get all their hopes up, and like they get really really excited for these games, and then like they come out and everyone's like, what the hell
yeah.
is this? Like, and they're sort of like, I feel like having that super short lead time up to it, like only a couple of months or like 6 to 8 months or something like that, is good because it lets people sort of set their expectations. It doesn't like let them overhype it in their head and stuff like that. And
Mm.
I feel like that's what Cyberpunk sort of shot themselves in the foot with, was they let
Yeah,
themselves
they
have a
did suffer with that.
super long lead time. Like, it was a couple of years, and people were just building up their expectations of this game for like 6 or 7 years or something. And then it came out and everyone's like, wasn't what I was hoping for,
Yeah.
or something similar to
Yeah.
that. Um, but you know, I guess again that's the way the industry these days is. Everyone sort of, they have to announce the game so far in development, or so far away, because they get people to pre-order it or they get people excited so they can get
Yeah,
that like that
they need to
marketing
make the
hype behind
money.
it. Yeah, they sort of need to make their money, which I do understand. It's a sort of
Mm.
similar thing in movies and stuff these days. Like they do the same thing where they announce a movie and it's like, yep, it's coming out in 3 years' time. Like Disney's a big one with it. Disney does it like every year. They do their like D23, which is
Oh, yeah.
their big conference thing, or they do like their business meeting day, like they did it earlier this year, where they announced like for the next like, I think it was maybe like 6 years or something of just content that's meant to be coming out. There's like 6 or 7 different Star Wars things. There's a bunch of new Marvel things. There's like, all of these new Disney old school movies that are being remade in like live action and stuff like that. And
Mm.
everyone gets so excited, so hyped about all these things that are coming out. Um, I'm sort of, I'm at fault for it too. I love all my Marvel movies and all my Star Wars movies. Like,
Yeah.
I can't wait for all those things to come out. I completely forgot about it. But WandaVision comes out, I think it's this month, if I'm not mistaken.
Ooh,
I think it's
really?
January 15th or something like that. So I'm super excited
Okay.
for that. Like, I wasn't expecting it to come out this soon. I thought it was still a couple of months away, but I'm pretty sure we get
Yeah.
WandaVision this month. Which I'm super excited for. Anything Marvel, I will eat up. You know, Spider-Man's my favorite
Me
superhero
too.
of all time. Like, I'm gonna eat up anything that they spit out. Um, so that sort of leads me into my next, like, I guess, big game of this year, which again
Hmm.
doesn't really have a hard release date, but it is slated for 2021. But Gotham Knights. Super excited for Gotham Knights. I've been a big Batman
Mm.
fan for a long time. He's not like my favorite superhero. Spider-Man still takes that cake, but I think Batman's a very close second for me.
Yeah.
I've loved all the Arkham games and stuff like that. They're some of my favorite games of all time. I still remember getting my Xbox 360, and I asked the person at JB Hi-Fi if they can swap out. I think it was like Connect, like a Connect game or something like that. I didn't want the Connect game.
Yeah.
Like, can you swap it out for Batman for me? And they're like, yeah, we can do that. I was like, sweet, thank you
Oh,
so much.
nice.
So then my first game that I got for my 360 was Arkham City, which I love that game.
Okay.
Um, but Gotham Knights is like meant to be taking on one of like my sort of more favorite Batman story arcs in the most recent comics, called the Court of Owls, which I do recommend a lot of people read if you haven't read it yet. Very good, very good run. But the
Mm.
Court of Owls is basically like this super secret, like Illuminati type organization that has been running in the underbelly of Gotham City for like, it's since it's in since its creation or something like that, decades and
Mm.
decades and decades ago. Um, and you find out in the comic, I don't really want to spoil it too much, but you find out in the comic that they have a lot more to do with like Batman's story or Batman's like sort of character and life than what you'd think and stuff like that. And it's a really good sort of story that just keeps you really engaged and stuff like that at every point of the turn, at every turn of the page. Sorry. Um, and that's sort of what they're incorporating in this new game. which I'm super excited for. It's meant to be playing. There's no Batman in the game though, so it's only like Nightwing, Batgirl, Red Hood, and Robin. I think are the 4 main playable characters, and I'm pretty sure you can all play it co-op as well, like co-op online or couch co-op and stuff like that, which is completely new to like the Arkham sort of
right.
series of games. They've always been like a single play game and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited to see how they do that. Like I can't wait. You know, it's really up there for me as being the thing, and I hope as well again that they can like use some cool features with the DualSense or something like that.
Yeah.
I feel like that'd be a really fun game for it.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. I wonder if they'll do it the same way I guess Avengers did with the game where you can play as each Avenger.
Yeah, I do wonder.
With friends.
Yeah, I would
because that'd be great.
I would assume so. Like, it would be silly for them not to. I think, like, to capitalize on that, especially at the moment with like, you know, like we said before, everyone's still sort of in lockdown or in some sort of partial lockdown and stuff like that. So no one's really going anywhere to play these couch co-op games. The only way you can really play them is to like play them over the internet. Like, we just recently played, what was it? Cuphead, and we used the Steam. Used like the Steam like link.
Remote
play feature, because obviously like we're 2 states away from each other. Like, I can't just pop over to your house to play Cuphead or vice versa. So like, you know, we have to sort of make do with what we can, and I feel like that'd be really good for them to sort of implement if they can, like, you know.
Yeah, and remote play actually turned out to be really great. I thought it would be laggy.
Yeah, no, especially for like a game like Cuphead, like you need to be like pixel perfect in a lot of those sorts of situations. And like, so I was really worried that like I was gonna have like a desync or a lag, like you said, but it worked fine. Like, there was 1 or 2 stutters that I noticed, but it didn't cause any deaths for me, I don't think. So I'm really happy with it. Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah, it was a stressful night, but it was great.
I slept like a rock after that night, I tell you.
I know, me too. I'm so tired.
And I guess the last one on our list is like sort of one that we're both excited for. Do you want to talk about this one, I guess? To be the Ratchet and Clank.
I'm lost on this list. Sorry, is it the Ratchet and Clank?
Yeah, sorry.
I've actually never played Ratchet and Clank.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Never?
I've never played Ratchet and Clank.
Man.
No.
Ratchet and Clank, back in the day, they had a game that I got.
I know it's like the OG of like PlayStation / co-op.
When I first got my PlayStation 2, Ratchet and Clank 3 Up Your Arsenal. Like, as a kid, you're like, what a name. Yeah, as a kid, you're like, oh, that's a badass name. Like, Up Your Arsenal, that's pretty cool. But like, as an adult, you look back and you're like, did you really just call a game Up Your Ass? Like, are you serious? Like, and so it's like, yeah, they're really fun games. Like, they've always had like, I don't know if you remember, what's the game called? It was made, come out on Xbox. I have it here on my Steam. Hang on, let me see if is it on? Oh, I don't know. But it's like, you could zip line over all these places and stuff like that, and you had all these crazy weapons and things like that. The name's blanking on me, but someone will be able to tell me what it is.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I just don't know the title.
It's like super colorful and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
it has these like crazy weapons in it, and it reminds me a lot of like what Ratchet and Clank used to be, because that was basically what it used to be. Yeah, it was like what it used to be back in the day. It was basically just like a run and gunner, and you had all these like crazy weapons that you'd use and stuff like that. And it was just really fun, and I don't know, they've just always been a part of my childhood. So when I saw at the PlayStation event that they were making a brand new one, utilizing all the power of the new PS5 and stuff like that, I couldn't wait. It's meant to be as well. I think this is one of the first games that are coming out this year that is just a PS5 exclusive. A lot of the other games might be like a PS5 PS4 sort of release, but I'm fairly confident that the new Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart is just a PS5 game, which I'm very excited about, because it means they can just develop all their time to making it like look the best for the console. They can utilize all the features of the controller. Like, it's gonna be super cool.
Yeah, okay. So, well, I'll have to give it a go.
You'll have to
at some stage.
I can try and find. I think it's actually, if you have PlayStation Plus, like their online feature, go onto the PS5 and go onto the PlayStation Store, and you can. There's a bunch of games that you can like download for free if you have PlayStation Plus, and the Ratchet and Clank that came out on PS4 is one of those games. recommend. I think recommend going and downloading that and playing that
Okay.
because that'd be a good intro into
To
sort of Ratchet and Clank. Because I'm pretty sure Rift Apart, the new one, is like a direct sequel to the PS4 Ratchet and Clank.
Okay.
I think. So that'd be a good place to start. And I think they also sort of rebooted the Ratchet and Clank series with that PS4 release because there hadn't been a couple of games since like
Right.
the very early days of PlayStation 3, if I'm not mistaken. So that'd be a good place to start, I feel, for someone that's never played them. And then I'd love to hear as well what you think when you do eventually play it because they are pretty fun games and stuff like that. And a lot of people do love them. It's like Ratchet, not Ratchet and Clank. It's like Crash Bandicoot and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They're sort of very sort of similar, like classic PlayStation games that everyone sort of loves.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to give it a go. Well, that's pretty much a summarized list of stuff that we are looking forward to. There's quite a few games coming out this year that we've missed, like Horizon Zero Dawn, the second one that's coming out this year.
You're not wrong, actually. I completely forgot about that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so there's heaps that we've missed, but so far those are the ones that we're gonna keep our eye on and hopefully stream.
Yeah. Hopefully we can get some things in there. I do want to get back to it at some point, but yeah, I guess
streaming.
Yeah. Just a bit hard at the moment, Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
With uni going back soon too, I got to get back to uni at the start of February, I think it is. So that'll take up a bunch of my time. Yeah. But I guess before we wrap up, is there any game in your like pile of shame that you've been meaning to get to that you just like haven't been able to?
My pile of shame is so long.
My pile of shame is way too long. Way too long.
I think.
Like I know you really want to play. I know you really want to play Rust at the moment too, and that's been out for a couple of years, and you've never played that.
Rust, yeah.
Yeah, but a Souls game, okay.
I think I need to finish at least one Souls. I picked up 3 of the Souls games, and I haven't finished any of them.
I feel like you need to go and just finish off playing Demon Souls on PS5. Honestly, like I feel like that'd be the way to go.
It's either for me. I think it would be either Bloodborne because I think that one really hooked me.
Yeah.
Or Demon Souls. Those are the first ones that I need to go back to and then just finish. And then I think it might inspire me to go.
Did you ever finish Dark Souls 3? I know you played that a fair bit, but you never finished that. Okay.
No, yeah, I don't know. I need to do it.
Yeah. No.
What about you?
I think at the top of my list with Resident Evil 8 coming out, I think I do need to go back and finish off Resident Evil 7. There's also a couple of DLCs I think for that, but I also want to start replaying Death Stranding again. I picked up Death Stranding a little while ago. They had a sale on Steam.
On PC.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And I played when I was at your place like a year or two ago when it came out.
Oh, that's right.
I used Steven's copy of it, and I would stream I think every night for about 8 hours, give or take.
Yeah.
Playing Death Stranding almost every night. I finished that game in just under, I think, 2 weeks. I really enjoyed. Well, I mean, I say I finished it in quotations, but like I finished that game in just about 2 weeks. But there's still so much that I didn't get to do. Like, and so I picked it back up on Steam, to go back and play it. And so I think that's another one that's really up there for me because I want to go and probably sort of like take my time with it and stuff like that. I think because it is a very fun game. I know it's not for everyone, but
no,
but it is one of my favorite games. I think for PlayStation in a good while.
I remember you really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was I wasn't expecting to enjoy it as much as I did. I think I just sort of wanted to play it because it seemed pretty cool at the time. But as soon as I started playing it, it just like, I don't know, something hooked me, and I just I really enjoyed it. It was great.
Yeah, I wish I finished that game as well. I really want to know what the hell was going on in that world.
You know what? I did play it and I did finish it, but there's still a part of me that doesn't know 110% what went on.
Right.
So I think that's another thing.
When you watch Inception and it's just like
I still don't understand Inception. I've seen it once and I didn't understand it, and I was like, you know what?
Oh, you've seen it once.
Sure.
That's
Same with
that's why.
Same with what do you call it? Interstellar.
Gravity?
I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure,
that's the one.
I'm pretty sure I understand most of it, but there's still a little part of me that's like, did I understand it? You know, or are you just like, are you just lying to yourself that you did, so you feel smarter than what you are? But
totally.
But yeah, I have been meaning to rewatch it, but it's just like, it's a 3-hour movie.
It's a long movie.
Man, you got to cut out a big window of your day for that, you know? Like,
yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
And
maybe this will like eventually segment to a film sort of thing that we talk about.
And weekly film talk. Hang on. What season are you up on to Breaking Bad at the moment?
Oh, season 2.
Oh man, weak. I'm just about to finish season 3. I think. Yeah, I think I'm just
about
to finish
season 3. We've gone to 3. It like gels to the next season so quickly that
especially like I think
the first season I was like,
because we're watching it on, well, the season 1 is only like 5 or 6 episodes, I think, because it was like a pilot season.
Same with season 2's 10.
Second season was like, I think it's like 12 or 13, and then same for season 3.
Really?
Yeah, they're both quite a bit longer. But but right. I think they gel so well together as well, because we're also like both watching it on a streaming service where we can just binge it back to back to back to back. Like if we watched it back in, did it come out like 2010 or something like that, I think, or just before 2010?
Yeah.
Like if we watched it back then, we'd be watching it weekly and stuff like that, and then we'd have to wait, you know, the 6 months between seasons and things like that, and make it a lot more of a slog, you know. But yeah, we've both been doing a rewatch, for those that don't know, this past like a little couple of weeks, and man, what a show.
So good.
If you haven't seen it, there's a couple of friends that we know that haven't seen it, and I honestly can't believe it. But please go and watch Breaking Bad. Please.
Yeah, this is a sign for you to try Breaking Bad or even rewatch it.
I'm looking at the camera for our YouTube watchers. Please go and watch Breaking Bad. Please. And then tell me what you think, okay? It's one of my favorite TV shows of all time. And I think a lot of people would agree with that. I forgot how much I loved it. I sort of hate telling people that haven't seen it to go and watch it, because it is like it sounds so like, what's the word? Like cliche, when it's like, oh my god, it's the greatest TV show of all time. But like I say that for a lot of things, but I honestly mean it for Breaking Bad. It truly is exceptional TV and drama, and just like, I know one of our friends, Hula, he's a big like cinematography nerd. He loves the cinematography in Breaking Bad, and I found myself doing a rewatch. Like, I don't know if you ever did it in English class in high school, but like we'd have to analyze TV shows and movies and things like that. And I've honestly found myself sitting there going, wow, that camera angle really juxtaposes how he feels between the last conversation. And I'm like, god damn it, I'm a nerd, you know? Like, but it's one of the good things about the show, is like you can actually sort of analyze it with that lens and sort of get a deeper understanding of it, which is cool.
Well, I think that's definitely the upside of watching a show again, because you probably won't do that the first watch.
No, that's the first watch through, you're sort of just watching it and trying to take in as much as you can.
Yeah, you're too distracted with actually trying to pay attention.
Yeah, and that sort of goes back to why I want to play Death Stranding, is because I want to sort of like sit back and sort of take in a lot more of what I might have missed and things like that. But yeah. But I guess we can wrap up episode 1 for the week there. We're just about to hit 50 minutes or something, I think, which is pretty good.
Oh wow, we've spoken
quite a bit. We can really talk. But thank you guys for listening and for watching. I'm gonna look at the camera again. Thank you guys for watching. We're gonna try and get this out every week if we can. I know, like, you know, we're gonna try our best. Obviously, things might come up. Like, I go back to uni soon, so like I might have a uni class on Wednesdays. We're recording this on a Wednesday at the moment. I might have a class on Wednesday at this time. Who knows? We're gonna try our best to see how many we can get up in the year. But you know, I really enjoyed today's session. I think this was quite fun.
Yeah, and you know, like the first session's gonna be the longest, I think, because we're just kind of riff-raffing.
We're sort of getting our feet and stuff as well.
Yeah, and so hopefully it'll be like around half an hour recordings for you guys, and we'll also upload it to the YouTube as a video format. Yep. If you like to digest entertainment that way. And we'll just kind of go with this flow and see how we go with the whole podcasting thing, because we're pretty much very new to this.
Yeah, we're brand new. We have no idea what we're doing, but we're just hoping we can. Idea. We're just hoping we can get something out there, you know.
Yeah, and so thank you so much for watching or listening, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah. See you then. See you guys.
Bye.